Hey, good evening, Facebook family. Welcome to another episode of Facebook Live. Title coming soon because I know all of you are submitting awesome new titles for this show. With me, your trusted parenting advisor and faithful guide and servant on the journey for healing. What's my name? Big Papa Bryan Post. Coming to you guys this evening from one of my favorite places, actually the Chesapeake corporate headquarters, Chesapeake Oil corporate headquarters, because they have this awesome fountain in the back. It's kind of loud because it's noisy. It's windy actually. It's been a fantastic day in Oklahoma. 75 degrees, just doesn't get any better. But I was driving past my favorite spot. It was getting close to come on time to visit with you guys, so I wanted to go ahead and pull over here and drop this on you real quick. So tonight's episode is how to cope when you and your spouse are not on the same page. I say spouse, partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. When you guys don't see eye to eye on parenting, and usually what that means is one parent is wanting to use more force, more fear, more threats, more control, maybe spanking, yelling, shaming, and the other parent is trying to flip the paradigm and do something different. So the first thing I want to share with you is if you have a spouse who's not on the same page as you, the first thing you have to realize is that they're scared and overwhelmed. It's just nothing more than that. They are scared, they're overwhelmed, and they feel helpless. It happens to men all the time. Rarely do I encounter a husband who's saying, you know, my wife wants to spank my children's ass and I don't know what to do about it. Usually it is a mom who's saying dad wants to continue spanking and what have you, threatening, and won't get on the same page. The reason for that is men, they won't tell you this because a lot of times they don't know, but when it comes to working with challenging children, they feel overwhelmed. And when they feel overwhelmed, they feel helpless. And so what men tend to do is to back up, they pull away, they become more passive until they just reach the boiling point, and that's when the aggression comes out. This is very common in spousal relationships where things get really tough. Dad gets overwhelmed, starts to shut down, starts to withdraw. Mom actually starts going for him, trying to get him to engage even more. He gets backed into a corner, and then he comes out roaring. So you're probably experiencing a similar situation where child continues to escalate. Dad has tried, he's failed, he's tried again, he's failed again, and then he finally uses power and force because that's what he grew up with. And you know, it's just the only thing he knows what to do in that moment. And then as soon as he does that, mom gets really mad at him. Then there's shame, then there's blame, there's why can't you do it different? Then you guys are fighting, and then it's just like, oh hell, nobody's making love tonight, everyone's mad and going to bed, and then you wake up just to another stressful day. So I just want to share, number one, for you dads out there, it's okay to say that you feel helpless. It's okay to say that you feel overwhelmed. It's okay to say that you just don't know what to do. It's okay to say to your wife or your partner, look, I'm not sure right now, but I believe if we can just slow down, because that's key number two. Key number two is slowing down, because a lot of times stress causes us to move really fast, and when stress causes you to move really fast, all your thinking becomes confused, distorted, your short-term memory suppressed, you're not thinking clearly, and you're just trying to make something happen. One of the biggest challenges with children with behavior problems when it comes to parents is that our amygdala, our fear receptor in our brain, when it sees negative behavior, it's looking for a threat. It sees a threat, it's looking for a threat, and the only thing the amygdala knows to do is to remove the threat. So that's why so much of what we do in parenting is fear-based and it's controlling, and maybe you haven't even thought about it. I don't know how long you've been following my work, but it's controlling, it's overpowering, and it's dominating. And the reason for that is it's not because we love our children. Of course we do love them, but we don't parent our children in that way because we love them. We parent our children in that way because we're scared, we see a threat, and we want to make the threat go away. So it's very important for you to come to an awareness that my imprint-based, reactive, fear-based parenting, it really isn't about making my child learn or behave a certain way. It's about making me feel better first and foremost. So that's pretty important. Number 3, you've got to really slow that brain reactivity down. And you've got to say, and I say this at the close of at the end of every Facebook Live, you've got to say, at some point, you've got to be willing to say, I can choose. I can choose to hit my child. I can choose to yell at my child. I can choose to threaten my child. Yes, I can. And I've been doing that for a long time. And where has it gotten me? Has it gotten me into any better place? Or I can take a few deep breaths. I can slow down. I can count to 10. I can sit down. I can ignore that behavior for just a moment. And I can think, what would a more relationship-based response to my child right now be? What would love do in this moment right now? I really can take that moment. And I believe that when you do that, you really can take that moment. And I believe that when you do that, you're going to experience a reservoir of light and power that comes inside of you. Just from that slowing down and giving yourself permission and just saying, look, hey, Cindy, look, I really can choose to yell, hit, threaten, shame, all of the stuff that has happened to me over the years and throughout my life. I can take away the stuff. I can give some nasty consequence. But how is it going to leave me feeling at the end of the evening? And how's it going to make my significant other feel? You can give yourself permission to do that, follow that same old path, or you really can just stop and slow down and take some deep breaths and say, you know what? I think I'm going to do something different this time around. And I'm going to close with a very short story. I grew up being whipped as a child because that's pretty much how every kid I grew up with was whipped when he was a kid. That corporal punishment, that was just a thing for the day. That's what our parents did. That's what they experienced. They didn't know any different. Well, my oldest daughter, she's now 22 years old. When she was 2 years old, she's about 18 months old, I was in graduate school. And her mother and I were bickering one morning in the kitchen. And she was walking around naked because I've always been kind of a hippie. I want my kids to be free and, just hang out. She's walking around in the kitchen. She's naked. We're sitting there fussing between one another. I can still see it in my head. And, hey, Crabbit from Scotland, thanks for joining us. I can still see this in my head. And I swear to God, it's because she and I were fussing. We weren't yelling or screaming, but it was just tense. And my little daughter, she started to pee on the floor. Right? She's right around potty training range. Well, I was frustrated. I was stressed. So I picked her up and I swatted her on her butt. And I said, you don't pee on the floor. You pee in the potty. And I picked her up, carried her in the bathroom, set her on the toilet. And I'm standing over, it's an apartment bathroom, so it's a small little bathroom. I'm standing over her, scowling at her. And she looks up at me. And this great big crocodile tear welled up in her eye. And it came down her face and it went right over the crest of her cheek. And I melted. I absolutely melted. And right there, I got down on my knees in front of her and I said, honey, Daddy will never hit you again. I am so sorry. Never hit my kids again after that. Never even really have yelled at them. Raised my voice from time to time, gotten really firm from time to time, but no hitting. Because there is a different way. And I have a beautiful relationship with my daughter now. So we all have that opportunity because we all have those imprints. So remember, in any given choice, we can continue to react from our same imprints of fear and stress and overwhelm. Or we can stop, we can take 3 to 10 deep breaths, we can slow down, and we can choose love. And I hope you choose love. Be a fearless parent. Be a fearless parent. God bless you. Have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.